Greetings from sunny Southern California. My name is Nicole Banister, aka Nikki Banz. Today is Tuesday, so welcome back to NIKKI BANZ Live!
She's really good.
What's Gucci party people? How are you doing out there? What an absolute treat to see all of you here today, tuning in from all over the world. Tell me in the comments right now here on Instagram Live, where are you coming to me from? What city? What country? I want to know because right now I am in Los Angeles, California. In the last week, I have been in 3 countries. A proper jet setter, y'all. I have been in South Africa. Last week I was in Mexico. And today I'm in the good old US of A. It is so much fun to be here. I am so blessed and so honored to have the amazing travel opportunities that I do. I am so thrilled to be able to share stories from incredible people from all over the world, whether they are activists or mentors or content creators or influencers. No matter the type of person that they are all movers and shakers in their field, and you hear exclusive one-on-one interviews with them right here every single Tuesday on NIKKI BANZ Live. It doesn't matter where in the world your girl NIKKI BANZ is, I'm coming to you live every single Tuesday. Mark your calendars, put a recurring calendar invitation on for every single Tuesday because your girl NIKKI BANZ is coming in live and coming in hot every single week. I'm seeing people in the chat saying they're coming in from India, from Houston, from other places. Yes. Keep telling us where in the world you are coming to us from because we have such a diverse global audience here on this show, and I just love to highlight that. I love for people to see that no matter where they are in the world. So thank you for being here today, no matter where you are here on NIKKI BANZ Live. So today's guest is none other than the inspirational, the motivational, the passionate Rachel D. Fox. She is a motivational speaker. She is a mindset mentor. She is a published author. She is a mother. She is straight up superwoman, party people. I'm telling you, Rachel is going to have so many insights and expertise and things to share with us. I cannot wait to bring her on live for all of you. So I know she's here. I know she's already waiting to get this show started. So I'm not going to keep her waiting any longer. You already know how I do. I'm going to give you all a little drum roll and then I'm going to pass the mic over to the woman of the hour, the one and only Rachel D. Fox. Get excited. Let's get lit. Here we go. This is NIKKI BANZ Live. Here we go. Woohoo! Hello there.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
I can. Hey.
Hello, Rachel. How are you?
I'm good. We have the same lip color, girl.
I know.
Look at that. Look at that. I'm already winning.
I'm so excited. Literally, you were messaging me before the show being like, I'm putting on my bright lips. And I was like, me too.
Yeah, I had to do it. Sometimes as chocolate girls, we have to test it out and see, does this actually work? So audience, you have to let me know if this pink lip is working for you. Let me know. What do you think?
Strike a pose for the camera. Hold on. I love it. Oh, Rachel, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a guest on NIKKI BANZ Live. It is truly my pleasure, my treat, my honor to have you here. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this moment literally for such a long time, just to be able to connect with you, see how you're doing, see that smiling face of yours. You're just an amazing light.
Thank you. And you shine that light so bright as well. I feel like we immediately connected when we first met. And so I'll share, I always like to start every episode of NIKKI BANZ Live by kind of sharing how I know the guests who are on my show. And so you and I actually first connected through Bozoma St. John's Badass Business Boot Camp at NAS Academy. You were a student in the course, and I remember you specifically because you won a prize during the launch party.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That was an amazing experience. Let me tell you, the Bozoma St. John boot camp was more than just one of these courses that you take online. It's really a truly wonderful experience. And yes, for the very first time, I made my very first time making a, what is it called? A meme. I never made a meme before. I had to look it up and see how you make one. And then I ended up winning an iPad. And let me tell you, I love my iPad. It was such an amazing thing.
That was your first time ever making a meme?
I've never made a meme before. Never. That was it. That was my first time.
That right there, that is such a true inspirational story, because so often people are like, no, I can't do this. I can't do that. I've never done it before. And you just tried it and you won big.
Yeah, seriously. It was like, sometimes you just have to stop thinking about it and just go with your first mind. That is truly a message for somebody out there. You may have been just pounding the pavement, just thinking and overthinking. Sometimes you just got to just do it and see what happens. And that's the times when you win big.
Exactly, exactly. And you did indeed win big. So that's amazing. And
Yeah.
we continue to win because we're here now on the show. There will be more collaborations to come. The winning just never stops.
And it keeps on going. It keeps on going and getting
Gooder and gooder. Come on.
Come on now, preach to me. So, Rachel, I feel like there are so many different words and so many different, names and monikers that I could use to describe you, because your professional background and what you do is so diverse. So, I gave you a little introduction when I started the show, but I would love to hear from you in your own words, speaking to the NIKKI BANZ live audience here. We've got folks tuning in from India, from the US, from South Africa, from Zimbabwe, all over the world. How do you introduce yourself to brand new people that you meet for the first time?
First, let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so my earbuds went off because my husband tried to beep in, and that's just life. That happens all the time. So I really, sometimes when people ask me like, who is Rachel Fox and all these different things, my very first instinct is to go with all the things that I do. Like, I am a public speaker, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm an author, wife, mom. But then I started to think about all those different things that I am and all those titles that I am. And if you stripped all of that away, who would I be? I would still be this beautiful Black woman who God created in his image. I love laughter. I love to be inspired. I have a wild imagination. I believe that unicorns are real. I love humor. I believe that nothing is impossible. So that's who I am at my core. And all those other things shape who I am. Because before I was a mother, before I was a wife, before I, had my degree and all these different things, I was still this beautifully, wonderfully made human being. And I want other people to get to know that they can enter into any space and not have to preface it with all the things that they've accomplished, all the things that they're hoping to do, or all these different things. They are worthy just because they are. So that's me.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm giving you snaps. I'm going to give you claps.
Thank you.
And I think that's so powerful, Rachel, because so often in this world that we live in, a lot of people want to start off with their accomplishments. They want to start off with their accolades because they feel like they have to position themselves in some kind of way or flex in some kind of way in order to be seen or to be respected by other people in the room. But you're absolutely right that simply just being, and especially for us women of color, simply just being our sheer existence is revolutionary. And then when we thrive, on top of that, then it's like, it's magic. It's pure magic. And so
that's right.
It's such a powerful reminder to all of us. And I think that's, it's you say it so easily and so smoothly, but I don't think that's an easy journey to come to. I don't think that's an easy sort of realization to come to. So how did you get to this point? Talk to us about your journey to, becoming this radiant and fabulous, talented woman that you are.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. I'm still on that journey. I still am on that journey. And sometimes because, our default setting is to go back and try to prove that we belong, to prove that we're in the world for a specific reason. I'll give you an example. When I was interviewing for a specific role, the person that was interviewing me asked me about my resume and about who I am and, why I deserve to be in the position that I'm in. And I immediately started rattling off all the different things that I had accomplished and all the different things that I did. And that person had to stop me. I started talking so much about what I had done, they had to stop me. They're like, okay, you got it. You won. And that really did a gut check for me to say to myself, I really don't have to do all that. I can just sit in the fact that I'm an awesome woman, and I don't have to overly exert myself to prove that I belong here. And it was at the height of the pandemic, at the very beginning, when I was on Instagram Live with Bozoma St. John. She was interviewing somebody else, and they were talking about different things. And this person mentioned doing this 12-week journey. It's called The Artist's Way. And it was something that I was like, I'm going to see about doing this, because whatever Bozoma St. John is doing, I really like. Her and I feel like we have kindred spirits. Seriously, we have to meet one day. But I went on that 12-week journey, and I'm telling you, all the different layers that I peeled off of myself just by getting to know Rachel, it was mind-blowing. That is what led me to write my book. And honestly, to continue to get to that authentic me. I'm showing up just as I am, who I am today, whether you like it or not. This is me. And falling more and more in love with myself helps me to show up as who I am with others. So I'm still arriving there, girl. I've not yet arrived. I'm still on that journey, but I'm more comfortable in that journey to be able to take a breath and say, you know what? It just is what it is. I just am who I am.
Wow, Rachel, so many powerful statements and so many gems you've dropped, even in this sort of opening remark in my response to, in your response to my very first question. And I love that you highlighted that the journey is ongoing and continuous. We never stop learning. We always keep growing and we keep moving forward. But I like how you phrased it, that you're just more comfortable now, right? You're more rooted in who you are, and this this understanding of your value and your worth and your purpose as the journey continues to flow and continues to go. And you mentioned your book, and I want to highlight that. I want to touch on that. Talk to us about your book, Back to Me. Talk to us about, how did you get sort of the motivation, the inspiration to write the book, and since publishing it, how has the reception been for you, and how have you been able to connect with all of your amazing readers out there?
Yeah, so writing the book in and of itself is a journey. Let me tell you, so there are so many different things that took place while I was trying to finish this book. We'd have to take another segment to talk about that shit, because that was a lot, okay? But I needed to get some things out of me. And it wasn't so much so to tell my story, but to inspire others through my story. So there are a lot of things I talk about that people want to shy away from, like rejection and jealousy and, being a people pleaser, all these different things, being busy. A lot of people say to me, they preface when they say, hey, could you do this and this and this? I know you're very busy. And just kind of peeling back those layers and talking about how I got to where I got to, why I believe what I believe, and the different stories interwoven between can help somebody else to say, wow, gosh, if she did that, then I can do that too. If she went through that and she made it on the other side and don't look half bad, then I can do that too. So really, it was more of an assignment for me that I needed to finish. And I hit so many challenges along the way, roadblocks on the way, death in my family, different things happened. And I wrote about it while I was editing the book. I was like, gosh, this happened. Wow. And as a mom and a wife and a granddaughter, those types of things, if you don't have that passion within you, it'll make you stop. It'll make you stop right in your tracks and you say, I can't go any further.
Mm-hmm.
But I continued to persevere because I knew that some people on the other side needed to hear that message. And the response has been overwhelmingly positive. I mean, so many people reached out to me in my inbox. So many people have emailed me and said, gosh, you really inspired me through your message. I'm inspired to write my book. I mean, and that's what it's all about. I said to myself, if I could touch just one person with my words, then I have achieved what I want to achieve with this first work, because it's not going to be my last book. So, and I've done that, and I'm happy with that because the assignment is completed. Now I move on to the next one.
Check, check, check. And I love, your words are reminding me of a quote by Marianne Williamson, who says, as we let our own light shine, we allow others to do the same. And so I'm really reminded of that when you talk about writing your book and sharing this, because, storytelling to me is so powerful. When you share your story, you hold space for others to reflect on their own story and reflect on their own journey. And it sounds like your book does exactly that in the most authentic way, which is you just sharing your own story. You're like, this is my life. This is my lived experience, and hoping and knowing that others will get inspiration from it as well.
That's right. That's right. That's how we overcome, by sharing our testimonies with others. And because sometimes you think you're the only one that's going through it. You're the only mom who's had a son arrested, or you're the only person who's been rejected from a job, or you're the only person who's felt like an imposter. But when you start to share your story, then others can say, wow, me too.
Me too.
Me too. That's how different movements like the Me Too movement started, because somebody opened up their mouth and said, this has happened to me. And other people said, that happened to me too. And so there's something powerful with sharing our story. Most of the time it's not for us. Because most of the times we'd rather keep that stuff, if we're honest, keep that stuff inside, buried in a little box, and just tuck that away. But no, something inside calls us out to be able to share those things so that it can have a ripple effect and echo throughout and heal other people in the process.
And I think that's so critical to the healing and the growth journey. So many of the exercises that I do as I continue to unblock past trauma, to grow through things that were previously stopping me, is either writing those things down in a gratitude journal or a reflection journal, sharing those with loved ones or people close to me. So actually sharing it and putting it out into the world can be so cathartic. And then, exactly the ripple effect. It's everybody else who's also struggling with that, who felt like they didn't have a voice or they felt like they couldn't share. You provide that outlet for them to do so by just being truthful to yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Nikki, there was something that you did after our class. Immediately after our class, you went on Instagram or one of the other social media platforms, and you were so authentic. You let the tears flow. You shared your story, and that really helped a lot of other people to come out of their comfort zone, to know that it is possible for them too, just by you sharing your authentic moment. You could have cleaned your tears up, turn the live off and recorded a clean cut video, but you did not do that. You were in the moment, you were real with it. And that is what people want to see. They don't want to see any more advertisements. They want to know the real. And that's what you gave us. And I'm serious. That's one of the reasons why I love taking the class, because you really brought your true self to that situation, and sharing that really touched me. And I know it touched a lot of other women too.
Oh, Rachel, thank you so much. And that's such a positive affirmation for me to hear, because it's so hard to be vulnerable. I mean, this, you wrote a whole book being completely and entirely, vulnerable, but it's so hard to show ourselves struggling or to show ourselves crying. And even that video that I posted after, having the opportunity to lead an hour-long interview with Bozoma St. John and, you and the rest of the students who were there. We're doing it again tomorrow, by the way.
I know.
we're going live with Bozoma again tomorrow, which is incredible. But it's such a powerful moment to have people together who are sharing similar experiences and to be authentic about it. And it's that rawness that I think draws people closer. And so what a time to be alive that people like you and I have the space to be able to do that, because I don't think our parents were able to do this. I don't think that people 10 years ago were able to be vulnerable and authentic the way that we have been. What does that mean to you as a Black woman, as a mother, all the different, sort of titles and labels that you hold? What does it mean for you to be able to share your story in this way and be that role model, be that mentor for so many others, whether it's through your speaking engagements or through your book or your podcast or whatever else you're doing?
Yeah. So one thing, I was reading a book one time, and it was talking about motherhood, and it was talking about how you should not, certain things you shouldn't share with your children. Like if you're crying or if you're hurt or something like that, you shouldn't share that with your children. Sometimes I read parenting blogs and books and stuff like that, and I think to myself, I just don't believe that. Sometimes your children or your audience or those people in your sphere of influence need to see that you're real. They need to see that unpolished version of you. They need to see you wiping tears away from your face and still pressing forward. They need to see you up late at night doing your homework. They need to see that even though we're dealing with these things, Mom is still getting up. Rachel is still getting up. My mentor is still getting up and doing these things. Because if they don't see that, then they think that when they hit a roadblock or when something is tough for them, that it's impossible. But when you show them the real you, and that doesn't mean you share with them what you ate for breakfast, you go to the toilet with them and show them what you did in there. No, that means that you're just sharing with them that everything is not Pinterest perfect. Everything don't have a filter attached to it. Sometimes life is just shitty, and that's just what it is. Sometimes I got to get on my hands and knees and scrub the gook off the floor and then get up and go to another conference. It just is what it is. And when you share those different facets of your life, then that's a secret sauce. That's what a lot of people are missing. They're missing that authenticity that comes with telling the real parts of your story. Because when you leave out those details, people just don't have that full glimpse. If somebody scrolled past all of my Instagram and they just went to the good parts, they will be missing so many beautiful things within, the tragedies that happened, the sacrifices that I took, the different challenges that happened, that I failed college algebra 3 times before I passed that motherfucker. It was hard. It was hard.
It was hard.
But I still did it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
So it's the beauty. It's beautiful to share your story. It's terrifying to share your story. And sometimes when you share your story, you don't know what the reaction is going to be. It might be crickets afterwards, and that's what your mind says. But then the beauty comes in when somebody DMs you or they go into one of your comments. They say, "That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I needed to hear that. I was on the end of my rope, but seeing the tear roll down your face showed me that it is possible to be a television host, to do these different things in life. You really, really, really inspired me." And that is the beauty of it. That's the magic.
That is so powerful, Rachel, and such a good reminder, even for all of us here watching this interview on Instagram Live, or perhaps folks are watching the rerun on YouTube, for you to just be able to say that realness, that is the part that people really need to see. And I think especially in this time right now with social media, it's rare that we see a lot of realness, because everything is beautiful, perfectly curated and perfectly manicured pictures and videos that are tailored and edited to perfection. But that's just a glimpse. That's not the full picture. That's not the behind the scenes, the reality. How do you balance that in your engagements that you do, whether it's what you're putting out onto YouTube or through the podcast or through your speaking engagements? Do you try to always keep this balance of giving people that real talk, but also the motivation and the inspiration of all the success?
I have to keep it balanced. I also have to keep it real. And then you also have to know who your audience is and what the message that you're delivering. There are people who want to hear more about the professional side of the things that I do. And then I have to teach them about some things that I've done with coding, learning and development and all that. There's really not that much leeway to talk about my story in that. But I do interweave in there that sometimes I'm the only woman, the only Black woman. And sometimes it's hard to take up these spaces. But I also advocate for women in technology. So you have to know your audience. You also have to know that when you step onto the scene, they're asking for you. They're asking for you. They're not asking for the vision that they have of you, because chances are they've seen you online.
Right.
They've seen your work. They want that you. They want that authentic you. And you have to continue to talk to yourself and say, I am prepared for this moment. I'm called for this moment. I deserve to be in this moment. And I'm going to give the very best of myself. And when you can't do that, be authentic and say that too. I mean, I've gone through a lot of shit over the last 3 weeks. Like, you don't even know, like my daughter had a pulmonary embolism. She almost died. She was in the ICU.
Oh no.
And my other daughter just delivered a preterm baby just last week. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background, but in the foreground, I'm bringing you the whole of who I am in this moment. It doesn't mean that stuff isn't happening. It just means that you have centered yourself in this moment, in this space, for this particular time. And sometimes you have to just be real and say what's going on too, because other people are going through things too.
Yes. And for you to show up as your authentic self and to give people that authentic story goes so much farther. And really invest people in the journey and it makes people want to continue to talk to you and be surrounded by you. Even for me, wanting to interview you, like I said, it was immediately clear from this launch party that we were at that you had this energy, you had this grace, you had this passion, even in the little moments you were speaking, accepting, your prize, right? And it's just like, it's that energy that draws me to you, then that draws other folks to you, which I think is just so, so powerful. And Rachel, you mentioned a little bit about your family just now. I want to talk to you about your family because you have a massive family. So when people say that you are busy like that, there's busy on the professional side of things, and then there's the fact that you have 11 children.
I have 11 children, two grandbabies. And I have a dog, a cat, a tortoise, and a snapping turtle, and a bearded dragon. And my cat is about to deliver kittens.
Oh, and a husband.
And a husband. And I'm married.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so from the home perspective, how do you balance all of that? The children, the animals, the personal one-on-one time with your hubby. What is your secret sauce for that? Because I think we all want to know.
Let me tell you something. You take every day, one day at a time. I know that people have to say, oh, where's the work-life balance? You have to strike a balance. I away with that shit. I mean, seriously. Some days you have to just wing it. Some days things are going perfectly. Some days shit hits the fan and you got to go to the emergency room and you got to call in reinforcements. One thing I will say is that I have a very strong support system. I have siblings. I have my parents are here. I have other supports, friends that surround me and that are around me. And that's what I lean on. That's what I depend on. And our family is so close knit that when we need a break, we say, hey, I need a break. And then somebody is willing to step in. We've been around the clock doing rounds and stuff like that while my daughter's in the hospital with her newborn who's in the NICU. And we've just been, hey, if we need to take our grandson, bring him over here. Because I mean, when you got as many kids as I have, what's one more?
Right.
Just come on in. I didn't even know he was here. Oh, he's here? Oh, okay.
Okay. We got one more. Okay.
So yeah, so a lot of people say, how do you do what you do? I take it one day at a time, one moment at a time. And we laugh. We're grateful for each other. And really, we lean in and we listen to one another. I don't have a prescription of what's going to work for somebody else, and nobody can have a prescription of what's going to work for me because we're all unique. That's why I don't really subscribe to a lot of these parenting books and stuff like that, or Pinterest parents, I like to call them, because everybody is different. Every human is uniquely different. I mean, there's something with each of my children that I have to parent them all differently. One person needs to be yelled at. Another person, I have to sit down on the floor and cross my legs and look at them deeply in their eyes. Another one that we have to color and talk. I mean, seriously, I have 8 boys and 3 girls. So we have to really do things differently with all of them. So we have to, and that's what makes it great for me to be able to relate to other people, because I have all these different personalities around me.
Yep, exactly. And I think this attention to detail that you're describing right now, that you afford to every single one of your precious children and grandchildren and even the pets, you know, like that attention to detail, that is what propels you to be able to connect individually with all these different folks that you interact with through speaking or through all these other things that you do. I mean, it's like, yeah, like exactly like you said, you already are surrounded by all these different personalities all day, every day. So when you go into the office or when you go into a conference, you're like, oh, piece of cake.
Listen, nobody can tell me that I can't run a corporation. Hell, that I can't run this country. Because look, I'm telling you, moms are so underrated, but we are in charge of bringing up generations of folks, of all these humans. The humans that you look to was raised up by somebody's mama.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I really don't subscribe to the fact that if you're a mom, that's all that you are. You can be a mom. You can be in the boardroom. You can be in the conference room. You can run your business, a startup. You can go and be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And you can do it all from the comfort of your own home. Why? Because we are shaping what it looks like to be professional. I'm professional. My dog is sitting right here snoring her life away. My grandkids back there snoring. And I'm still handling my business with you. Why? Because I can do that.
Hey! Okay, Rachel, come through. Come through. Rachel for president. I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm ready. Take my
Vote for me. I think I could do a good job.
I'm like,
I know I can.
do you have political aspirations? Have you ever thought about running for local office?
You know, I have been approached several times to run for local office. And you know what I thought about that? I would do that if they paid a little bit more. We spend all this money. Listen, let me tell you. We spend all this money campaigning, millions and millions and millions of dollars campaigning so we could be the spokesperson for the people. Then when we get in office, they want to pay you like, you know, pennies.
Right.
And I can't raise my family on that.
Right. Well,
so they need to raise that wage or find a way for us to be compensated in a way that I can be able to step away from some of the things that I'm doing and take care of my family so we can eat. I can't be up there in a suit and all this other stuff, flossing and everything like that, and then come home and feed my kids cornbread and ramen noodles. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work.
Not cornbread and ramen noodles.
You know, I'm talking about Jiffy cornbread and the ramen noodles, you know.
Well, I mean, look, we're sitting here laughing about this, but that really is the challenge with civil society, with nonprofits, and in this sort of a world, right? The positions where we are meant to be serving the public and where we are actually meant to be making an impact on the lives of millions and the lives of these communities around us. Those are oftentimes the least paid, the least resourced sectors and spaces. And you founded your own nonprofit, so you actually know you see this day to day. And I think this is so challenging. And I worked in the nonprofit space for almost a decade before I ended up transitioning into entertainment and have started, this role in live show hosting and emceeing and all this sort of thing. And it's hard because these are the folks who want to do good. They want to have social impact. They want to go change the world, or they want to make policies and they want to shift, and they're not being compensated accurately or commiserately for that work.
No, not at all. My nonprofit organization is like a passion project. Mm-hmm. I don't get paid from that. We don't have paid staff. Everybody's a volunteer right now. And you have to really navigate the different aspects. And sometimes I think to myself, do I want to go further in this? Do I want to continue to feed into that? And then when I look in the eyes of the people that I'm impacting, it's always a resounding yes. So I'm always trying to figure out a way, how can we be self-sustained so that we're not up here trying to hold out our hands to every single person, so that we could actually have a good service to the community, because that is the biggest challenge, to be able to be self-sustained and serve the community, because it takes money to be able to do those things. And there's so many nonprofits out there that are doing amazing work. But then there are also some smaller nonprofits like mine who really truly depend on the kindness of the people in the community. So it's really that balance. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't sought for local office, is because of that one reason. But it's something that's near and dear to my heart. It's something that I want to do. I always advocate. I'm a straight up advocate for women in technology, education, women's rights, all of that. I have a lot to say about how women are treated in corporate, how women are treated in all different aspects. But right now I'm running my nonprofit, Empowering Girls and Women. And when that time comes, when they change different things, or when we scream loud enough and they change what's going on, then you might see me in politics.
Well, we will all be looking forward to that day, if and when it comes. And I want to highlight a little bit more about this nonprofit that you run. Can you tell us a little bit more about it? Tell us, the amazing work that you're doing with girls, and can you also tell us how the folks who are watching this here right now, how can people get involved?
Yeah, so my nonprofit organization is called You Go Girl, and it was founded in 2018. So I have to go back and tell the story. So one of my daughters was diagnosed with a rare disease in 2016. It's called anti-NMDA receptor encephalitis. And I'm saying the full name in case anybody is listening and they're going through this. It's basically where your body's receptors, the antibodies, build up so much that they start attacking other parts of your body. And in her case, it was the brain. Wow. So there's also a movie and a book about it. It's called Brain on Fire. And so my daughter went through this whole ordeal. Basically, she was having seizures, headaches, all these different things. She had to take a lot of medication that included steroids. And if you're on high dose steroids for a while, it makes you puff up. So you get moon face, your body just blows up. And so her body was looking different, and she was also going into middle school. So when she went into middle school, she started to get bullied by her peers. And as a mama bear, you just don't mess with my babies. Right. You don't mess with Rachel's kids. So I went up to the school to see what they could do. They gave me the whole spiel. They tried their best. And I was thinking to myself, how can I address this? Not just for my kid, but for other people's children. And then also the ones who are bullying, because they're missing something. Because when you feel so bad about yourself or your situation that you have to take it out on somebody else, you need help. You need help. And so my motivation for starting You Go Girl was to empower girls to be better, to do better, to see better, so that they can live out their lives to the fullest. So I wanted to have this one-day event. I didn't even want to start a nonprofit. I just wanted to have an event where girls and women could feel inspired in one space. They could see all these different things. I wanted them to hear from women in politics, women in sports, women in medicine, all kinds of things, poetry, art. I just wanted to be this eclectic conglomerate of just women and girl power. Yes. And you find that when you're trying to host an event like that, that's going to cost money, you need the backing of other corporations who will give to you, and they won't give to you unless you are a nonprofit organization. So that's where my challenge came in. And so that's where I did all the little things that I needed to do. I got my board together, I got my paperwork together, and I called the IRS like every day for 2 weeks straight. I was like, hi, my name is Rachel Fox and my number is 1234567. Have you got my application yet? And I just kept talking to them about my vision. And then in 45 days, I got my letter that we are a legit nonprofit organization. Then I was able to host the event, receive donations and those types of things. And since that time, we've been able to give out thousands of dollars in scholarships. We've been able to host events. We've been able to do summits and partner with other organizations, give out computers, and be a light in the community. We've also tackled the Omaha Women's Day March. We are one of the fiscal sponsors for it. And I'm really proud of the work that we've done. We've reached out to girls in South Africa to help them. We've reached out to girls in Asia to help them. And we've done coding clubs, all these different things, all in efforts to empower them, encourage them, and inspire them. So I'm really happy with it. And you can reach me with at You Go Girl Omaha. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're also on TikTok. And also our website is yougogirlomaha.com.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm so glad that you were
Thanks.
able to share more about the founding and the story behind it. And it's that much more powerful when the organization is founded off of this deep personal thing that's happened, or a challenge or a situation, and to be able to take tragedy or something that's so challenging and so hard and turn it into something that is now affecting and impacting the lives of so many other thousands of girls is so powerful. And it's this mindset, right? And this is something that I saw that you had tagged often on your Instagram, was that you're a mindset coach, and that mindset matters. And it's really about shifting your perspective on things that are happening, and how to overcome them, and how to turn them into learning experiences and moments. And and I want to talk about that as well. And thank you so much for sharing. And everybody, if you haven't followed Rachel yet on Instagram, please go and do so. On the top of your screen where it says NIKKI BANZ Live, little arrow in the middle of the screen at the top, click that. You can follow Rachel on Instagram. You can follow me at They Call Me Bands. And Rachel, your handle is at Rachel D. Fox. Please follow us on Instagram. Follow You Go Girl Omaha, which is hyperlinked in Rachel's bio on Instagram. So get involved and support this process, support this journey, support these girls.
Thank you.
We need that. We need that. And I'll also just caveat and say we have about 20 minutes left here on the live interview. For all of you who are watching right now, if you have questions for Rachel, go to the bottom of your screen on the right-hand side. There's a little thought bubble with a question mark in it. Click on that, and you can type any questions that you want. The last 10 minutes of the show, I will very happily be asking Rachel any questions that you all, as the fans, our followers,
ask me anything.
Yes, we love to get the audience involved. So yes, the little thought bubble at the bottom of your screen, click on that, and you can ask Rachel some questions. But yeah, let me build off of this concept of your mindset and your perspective. I think that's something that seems like it comes through often in the types of speaking engagements that you do, and how you engage with some of your corporate clients. So can you talk to us a little bit more about your work around shifting mindsets and shifting perspectives, and then all the different sort of outlets where you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this particular thing about mindset shifting is something that my husband and I talk about all the time. Like the stuff that I just got done telling you that has gone on over the past few weeks would have probably taken out a lot of people. And it had me on my knees for a minute. But I had to think about the end game. I had to think about what's ahead of me. And I also had to think about the fact that even though those things are really, really shitty, my daughter is still alive. My granddaughter is still alive. And I had to think about, even if I lost everything, if I lost one of my children, what would I do then? Sometimes you have to think about the worst case scenario. When I'm talking to people and they're really at their wits end, they're like, I think I might lose my job, or I think I think I can't really make it past this. I ask them to, let's walk this thing out, and then let's back up. Let's look at the worst case scenario. Well, that probably is not going to happen. What kind of things can we do to work ourselves out of that? And then what is the lesson here? What am I actually learning from this situation? Am I going to let every tragedy derail me? I've been in the emergency room more times than I can even tell you. I've been in children's hospital. I can tell you every nook and cranny of that hospital, but I'm not going to allow that to shift my joy and shift the things that I am seeking after in my life. And then also encouraging my daughter and those people that are connected to my daughter to keep living. Yeah, what you went through was hard, but you have so much more to look forward to. And so when I'm telling people about how they shift their mindset, really telling them something that I'm highly acquainted with. And how I do that is by looking for the lesson and the blessing in every situation. If you don't get the job you applied for, there is a lesson and there is a blessing. Yeah, you're going to kick and scream and pout and have a temper tantrum. But when you're done with that, you will see, because hindsight is 20/20. Later on down the road, you're going to see why you were rejected for that. Don't you have those moments when you go back in life and you thank God that you didn't date the person that you wanted to date so bad, or they didn't choose you?
Yes.
Because you look at them now and they're missing teeth, or they're, strung out or something like that. You're like, whoa, I'm glad I didn't pick him. I'm glad he didn't pick me. It's those things. It's the lessons in life, and you have to stand firm and know that there is a lesson in this, and there's a blessing in this. I'm really, really, really a woman of faith, and I really believe that God does not open up doors that we're not ready for. And sometimes he closes them, sometimes he says no, and sometimes he says not now. And we have to be able to trust that he knows what's best for us. And so sometimes I interweave my faith in there, depending on where people are on their spiritual journey. It makes no difference to me, but I allow them to know that your body, your spirit might be telling you something in this situation. You have to lean in and listen to it. And it's all about staying positive, looking for the blessing, and looking for the lesson.
What a powerful statement. Look for the lesson and the blessing. And I think that's something that I'm like, I want to take a little Post-it note and write that down and put it on top of my desk and think about that and reflect on that. I recently had a life coach who I work with in Cape Town, South Africa, which is where I spend a lot of my time, although I'm in Los Angeles right now. She was telling me, we oftentimes say the phrase like, trust your gut, right? Trust your gut on a person or an opportunity or a job or a move or, a lot of these big decisions. And she was like, what happens when you replace the word gut with God, right? What happens when you replace the word gut with God? And whether or not you believe in God, whatever your higher power, your higher being is, whatever let that be that for you, Allah or, Vishnu, whoever it is, whatever it is, Buddha, I don't care. But when you replace gut with that person, that being, it just all of a sudden things fall into place in a different way. Things just sort of sound and make sense differently, because you're absolutely right. Doors are opened exactly when they're meant to be open. They're closed exactly when they're meant to be closed. And sometimes it's hard for us to really step into that. Sometimes we want to push back.
Yeah. Absolutely. Your first instinct is to push back. No, I really want this. I really want that job. No, I really want that opportunity. This was lining up for me. I will tell you, there was something that I thought I really, really wanted. It was lining up for me. All of the I's were dotted, the T's were crossed for me. And at the end of it all, I didn't get what I thought I wanted. But I tell you now that the blessing in that was not getting into something that I wasn't ready for, because just around the corner, another tragedy hit, and I needed to be fully present for that situation. And if I would have stepped into something different at that time, I wouldn't have been able to give my full self to that. But the blessing is just around the corner. I got another opportunity that was even better than the one that I thought I wanted. And I'm telling you, it happens like that all of the time.
Tell us, preach to us, girl. Honestly, It's so we need these reminders, and that's why having these dialogues just like this, going live on Instagram, a podcast, a YouTube series, these are all the different ways that you communicate with people who are following you and engaging with your content. It's such a, we need to hear these things. We need to hear these reminders. It's like we were talking earlier about storytelling. You never know who needs to hear exactly what you just said right in this moment. One door closed, the opportunity that you thought you really, really wanted, and then now looking back at it, you know exactly why it happened that way, and now you have something even better to look forward to, which is so inspirational, and we're so happy for you, and we're so proud of you.
Thank you. But it wouldn't have happened if I would not have embraced the mindset that something greater is on the way. When you set your mind on something, when you're disappointed, it's very, very important that you hurry up and get over that. You hurry up and heal from that. Because if you sulk in that moment and the sadness and the disappointment comes over. It's the energy. It's the force of that energy that closes that door and leaves it closed for you not to be open to receive the blessing that's on the way. So if you need to forgive somebody, forgive them. If you need to get over that hurt, hurry up and get over that hurt. And I'm not saying rush through it. Feel all the feels that you need to feel, but don't stay there. You cannot stay there. Why? Because that new love is on the way. Because that new job is on the way. That new opportunity is on the way. And when you stay stuck in your hurt feelings and resentment and bitterness settle in, that door, you have held it closed. It may have closed because God didn't want it for you, but you hold it closed when you refuse to move on.
I gotta give you the club horn for that one, because that right there, feel all the feels and keep it moving. Another incredibly important reminder, and something that I think a lot of us needed to hear. I needed to hear that. So thank you for sharing. And I think, you know, Rachel, we have about 10 minutes left here, and I want to make sure that I, you know, respond to questions from folks who are asking here on the IG Live. So I think maybe just the last couple of questions that I have for you. You know, I want to ask you what's next? What's on the horizon? You know, as your friends, your fans, your followers, what can we keep an eye out for?
Okay, so just in a few days, I will be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, getting ready to graduate with my master's in organizational leadership. And so I'll be traveling from Nebraska to Tulsa to graduate with my master's degree.
Wow.
And what comes after that, I'm really in the process of working on an empowerment workshop for women called A Woman Empowered. So it's going to be something, a 5-week course that'll be on my website very soon with an accompanying ebook. So that will be coming out very soon, probably within the next month or so. And then your girl is probably going to take a pause and just reflect on the goodness of God in her life and just breathe. So you will be seeing some inspirational posts from me, and I might start engaging a little bit more with reels and things like that on Instagram. I took a pause from social media just so that I can be present with my family, but I am going to enjoy graduation. I'm going to enjoy putting this coursework together for the women that need to be empowered, and I'm going to keep going.
Yes. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
On your upcoming graduation, your master's. So incredible. We're so inspired by you and for you. I mean, this is, I can imagine, you know, you were talking about this interview that you had earlier where you were listing off all your accomplishments. Even for me, I'm like podcast, content creation, mother, pet mom, master's degree, founding a nonprofit. I'm like, woo! It's just, you know, this is what I'm saying. This is why in the bio that I wrote for you, I was like, superwoman. Like, there's nothing that
I love it. That's my favorite. One of the conferences that I spoke at, I actually sang "I'm Every Woman."
Oh, see?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
See? I knew. I had that intuition.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for sharing that with us and for letting us all revel in your excitement and send all of our good energy and positive vibes your way as you graduate, as you continue to spend time with your family, as you take a sabbatical of care for yourself and spending time with your loved ones, which is just as important as continuing to rack up all the accolades, you know? So that's right.
That's right. I mean, I will tell you that those things will be there when you get back. Always, always, always take time and listen to your body, listen to the things around you. And you can always press pause on social media. You can press pause on some of the things that you're aspiring to do, because it will be there when you get back. Because if you keep going when your body is telling you to take a break, you might not be there when you get back.
Facts. Facts.
Hello, your body's here, but where's Rachel? Woohoo!
Right. Gone. Exactly. It's so, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I think oftentimes with social media in particular, we talked about this, you're only seeing a very specific and a very curated, you know, aspect of what you want people to see, right? Like when I think about myself, Nobody knows that I go to an acupuncturist multiple times a
Mm.
month. Nobody knows that I see a life coach who has a beautiful, energetic, universal connection, who is, helping me look into my future and my destiny while giving me real life practical tools for how to move forward and work toward it. Nobody knows that I'm seeing a beautiful goddess who's an energy practitioner and healer, who's helping me to, unblock my past trauma and move forward to be the best version of myself. Because I don't put that on Instagram, so nobody knows, right? But
Nope.
there's so many things that we're doing to heal and to love ourselves and to grow, so that we can flash all the accolades and we can flash all the travel and the fun, good times on the screen for everyone to see, and on social media.
Yep. There is a saying that says, "Don't judge my glory until you know my story."
Woo!
And so what that means is you can't just look at my highlight reel and judge me based on that. Say, "Oh, she thinks she all that," or "She got it all together," or "She's in California and she does this and she does that. What good am I?" No, you don't know what it took to get you where you are today. Don't judge somebody's story, somebody's glory before you know their story. So if you look at me and say, "She thinks she is all that," you need to peel back the pages, go get my book. It's on Amazon, it's on Barnes and Noble. Read a little bit of my story before you judge my glory. And then you can understand why I'm so grateful, why I'm so thankful, why I have a smile on my face, and why I don't mind showing up for things like this, because I have been so blessed. Even through all of the things, even through everything you're going through, you don't look a bit like you are healing from trauma. You look like you're healed and whole. We don't look like what we've been through. And that's because of the work that's going on the inside. So I applaud you. You're a beautiful soul, and keep working on you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Rachel. I just feel like our conversation today has my cup just running over, truly. And this is what I love about Nikki Banz Live. I can have these real, honest dialogues with folks who, it's one thing if somebody hires you to talk at an event or at a conference, right? This is a very specific kind of content and something that's there. But with this, I feel like, Rachel, I feel like I've known you for years. Like, this is girl talk. We just chilling on the stoop.
We are girlfriends. Come on now.
Oh, beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing your story. And we had one question from the fans here today. I think this is a beautiful question to end on, from Che Hawkins, who's asking, who inspires you to be the woman you are today?
Oh, you know who Shay is? That's my daughter. That's my
daughter?
girl. That is my girl.
Oh.
And I am inspired. I am inspired by you, baby girl. You are doing your thing right there in the NICU, holding it down as a wife and mom. I'm inspired by all the young women that I get to impact on a daily basis. I'm inspired by my grandmother, who is 85 years old, and I talk to her every Wednesday, and she is in her right mind, and she's always telling me how God will make a way out of no way, and she's always saying her scripture and prayer every time we talk. And I'm just inspired by life. If you wake up, you have another day. You wake up, you have another opportunity. And I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired by my children. I'm inspired by just going outside and just taking in air, because as we know, there are a lot of people who are dying today because they are losing air. They can't breathe. There are different things that are impacting them. There are people over in other parts of the country who are suffering from wars and famines and all these different things. And here we are, blessed in our right mind, able to look in the faces of our children. Here's one of mine right here. Can't really see him.
Hello.
This is James. That's one of my babies.
Welcome.
But I'm inspired by them. I'm inspired by them. I really am. And so there's so many things that inspire me. I told you, I believe I'm one that has a wild imagination. I believe that anything is possible, and that all we need is to believe that. So thank you for that question, sweetheart.
Shout out to your daughter, Shay, for asking that question. So beautiful. I'm seeing my mom here dancing Samin. My mom and dad are here on the live commenting.
Oh,
and how beautiful that we have these generations of people who are here and supporting one another and allowing us to shine and to thrive in all of our glory. Well, I just have to tell you, Rachel, truly it has been my pleasure to have you on NIKKI BANZ Live. I'm so grateful that we were able to get to know one another better in this way and to connect in this way. I'll be sharing our live interview on Instagram as well as on YouTube as well, and we can share it far and wide. But
Yes.
I am so inspired by you. I know many people are commenting in the comments here about how they're inspired as well. And so thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for shining the light that you do and for paving a way forward for all of us. And we're keeping you and your family and all of your loved ones in our thoughts and in our hearts as you continue to just grow and shine in this world. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who tuned in and who will tune in. And I hope this was beneficial for you. Be well and be blessed.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rachel. Will I be seeing you tomorrow with Bozoma?
Yes, I will be on.
Amazing. I'll see you tomorrow with the badass Bozoma St. John and Rachel.
Yes.
Just so incredible. Thank you again. Thank you all for being here on NIKKI BANZ Live. We do this every single Tuesday with an amazing guest from a different country and a different walk of life. So tune in next Tuesday. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Don't forget to follow Rachel on Instagram at Rachel D. Fox. Follow me on Instagram at They Call Me Bands.